Right, so my name is Duddits, and I just want to focus on a weapon and last night's Twab, because sometimes they get missed little bits of information. It's all based around Revision 0. I used this weapon last season, and I wasn't that impressed with it, but they've actually buffed it. If you just look at the bottom bit there, it says increased PvE damage of the Hunter's Trace rounds by 25%, and they've actually increased the Hackett Best round by 75%. Now that is absolutely huge, 75% extra damage, and the video today is all going to be based around how to maximise this buff. We're going to get even more damage with that, with a build that I covered last season, a Stasis build, and we're going to get some absolutely massive increases, so stay tuned. I'm going to break it all down. So first things first, the Revision 0 is an exotic pulse rifle. It's a 450 rounds per minute, and what it does, it fires shield piercing ammunition. It's built in, so it's really good for anti-barriers. Like I said, that's built in. Then what it does, precision hits grant targeting data, and once you've got enough targeting data, you hold to reload and you charge that shot up, and it transfers the 4 sort of targeting blocks into one sort of big damage bullet, similar to as an Agis, but just not enough as much damage as an Agis, but it's very similar to that. And then it's actually got 2 firing modes. Hackett Light Burst Fire fires a stable burst of 4 lightweight rounds, and then the Hackett Heavy Burst Fire, this is the one that's actually been buffed by 75%. So you're already doing 75% more than what you was doing last season with that mode on. So that is absolutely huge on its own. But what I'm going to do is show you some numbers now, and I'm using the 4 burst. So 1728, that is from the 4 burst shot. So, and then the targeting data, once you've got that up, your major crit goes to 43771. So 1728 for the burst and 43,711 for the charge shot. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add this fragment on the Stasis subclass. Whisper of Rending. Primary weapons do increased damage to Stasis crystals and frozen targets. Now this weapon is a primary, and Whisper of Rending gets covered quite a bit. I see it, and people say 42% damage increase. It's actually a little bit more, and it depends on what weapon you're using. It's actually more sometimes towards the 50% mark. So now what I'm going to do is freeze the target, and you're going to see an increase from the original numbers. So here we go, let's see what happens. I've froze him, and you're going to see this increase, 2586 from the original number, and the charge shot is hitting for 65,492. So that is a 50% damage increase from the original numbers, not 42%, which I see a lot of people saying. It's actually 50% on primary. Now what we can also do, as well as putting the Whisper of Rending on there, we can actually stack kinetic weapons edges. Obviously this weapon's kinetic, so stacking 3 of these is an extra 22%, and this all stacks together. So again, I'm going to show you these numbers now. And then I just want to sort of touch on as well, I'm not actually using the 2 burst round, the hardest hitting one. I'm actually using the 4 burst round on this. So you're going to see even bigger numbers later on. 3155 and then up to 80k. So there's the original numbers, and in total that is an 82% damage increase, which is absolutely massive. And then, like I did say earlier on, I wasn't actually using the Hackett Heavy Burst Fire, so now you're going to see a bigger increase, because this is the one that's been buffed by 75%. So already, without any of this, we're already doing 75% extra damage than what we was last season if we're using this mode. But obviously, with everything else that you've seen, the Whisper of Rending and the kinetic weapon surges, you're going to see some really sort of decent numbers for a primary weapon that takes primary ammo. Don't forget, this takes primary ammo, so you're going to see some really nice numbers once you've got everything going on. So it's going to be frozen. I'm going to pick up my orb for my kinetic weapon surges, and you're going to see some really sort of nice solid numbers. 4400, and that's times 2, don't forget, because it's a 2 burst, so you're getting 2 of them, so it's basically like 8,800 per shot, which is really solid. Now the best way to proc Whisper of Rending, well, there is quite a lot of ways, as long as we can freeze targets on our Stasis subclasses, but osmiomancy is by far probably the best option, I think. Pair that with Bleak Watcher, and you can put freezer turrets down everywhere. I will leave a dim link for the build that I'm actually running. So this is a 1840 Master Lost Sector. I wasn't running any of the overcharge sort of buffs or anything like that, and it was performing really nice. And the buff does actually make a big difference. Like I said, I did use this a lot last season and I wasn't very impressed with it. But Revision Zero isn't one of these weapons where you're going to do absolutely insane DPS with it or anything like that, like Izanagi's or Galahorn. It isn't designed for that. I believe it was designed for purposes like this, just a neutral game, to put out some nice sort of neutral sort of damage along the way. Plug away nice and slow like that, just chew through enemies. It does make the barriers very easy, especially with the anti-barrier rounds built in, and it does take primary ammo, so again, just to touch on that, it is really solid for a primary ammo weapon now. So yeah, that's the video. Let me know what you think. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.